guys, it's Kelly and welcome back to my channel. We are here at the New York Auto Show and check out what's behind me. This is the refreshed 2025 Ford Explorer and we have the Platinum, which has an MSRP of $51,000. I am so excited to see what they have refreshed on the exterior and in the interior for Ford's midsize SUV. If this is your first time joining me, hey, I'm Kelly and I'm the Car Mom. I review cars for moms and for families. I'm a mom of 3, soon to be 4, and I'm a certified child passenger safety tech. All right, let's get started. Okay, so for 2025, we are going to see a larger, more expressive grille and also sleeker headlights. I think Ford kind of had to do this when we have cars like the new Traverse, the Hyundai Palisade coming out with these very sleek designs. The Explorer was kind of lacking, so I definitely think this more stylish front end is going to help. So the Ford Explorer has been America's best-selling SUV for about 35 years. These interior upgrades were needed and I am very impressed. So the interior has been completely overhauled from the technology to the materials used. It is definitely giving a little bit more luxe and competing with some of its competitors. This is going to be the first Ford SUV to feature the new digital experience, which is going to give you things like Google built-in, Alexa, the wireless Apple CarPlay, and just really try to make that transition from outside of your car to inside your car more seamless. And you guys, I'm here for it. Like, I'm here for comfort and convenience in my life. I'm also feeling really impressed with just kind of the upgrades they've made. They've pushed this dash back a little bit so you have a little bit more of a light and airy cabin. We're also going to have Blues Cruise available on the Ford Explorer. I love Blue Cruise. It's basically like Ford's semi-autonomous driving version, but I've used it a few times and it is stellar. Basically how it works is there's certain roads that are mapped across the United States. And if you're on a mapped road, which is basically any major highway, the car drives completely hands-free. You can take your hand off, it monitors your eyes right down here to make sure you're at least paying attention. And it is just some really impressive technology. Fortunately, I can't turn it on because we're at the auto show. But we have a 13.2-inch display, wireless charger with a little extra shelf here, some more kind of hidden storage underneath here with some charging capabilities, 2 cup holders, more storage, and a pretty decent size center console, especially for the size of the car. Panoramic sunroof found on this Platinum trim level. And I really just can't tell you how impressed I am with the newer materials used. Now, since this was only like a mid-cycle refresh, Ford didn't change anything about the drive, barely touched the exterior, and instead they just focused on upgrading the interior to make it more comfortable, adding just some more luxe materials. I'm actually very impressed. I think they kind of knocked it out of the park. Okay, let's start breaking down this second row because y'all, it is loaded with amenities, okay? First of all, I'm showing the captain's chairs, but I just asked a rep from Ford, actually the Explorer brand manager, Andrew, shout out, you were very helpful. And he told me that you can get the bench seat on any trim except for the ST, which is like their sporty off-road version. So that means you can get the bench seat on the lower trim levels or even this Platinum trim, which I think is amazing. Okay, with the captain's chairs though, great knee clearance, good head clearance. It feels very spacious. And I've, like I said, got good amenities. Heated seats and my own climate control available on this trim level with some little cup holders here. But this is elastic, so I guess it gives a little stretch. It's giving maternity pant. No. And then we've got that same great panoramic sunroof, letting in a lot of natural light, ceiling vents, obsessed. And then look at this, you guys. Built-in sunshades with a door cup holder. You know what just kills me about this? Like, you know who can't do sunshades? The Expedition. Like, the big sister can't even do it, but the Explorer says, I got you. Really feeling good about this. And I just think the door panel looks really nice. I love that quilted leather even found on the door. You guys, it's giving luxe. Something to keep in mind about the Ford Explorer is in the third row, we have 2 seats. So this is either going to be a 6 or a 7-passenger car, depending on if you get the bench or the captain's chairs. I love when there's only 2 seats in the third row because most of the time that means you have 2 real seats instead of like 2.5 fake seats. So let's talk about third row access. We have the tilt and slide. It's power on the top, which I think is pretty easy to use. Yeah, it feels very responsive. Okay, so with this second row seat pushed all the way back, my knees are touching, but I actually have pretty decent leg room, and I just love these 2 seats back here. Look at how wide and comfortable this bench feels. The only con, to be honest with you, well, there's 2 cons back here. One, these things aren't removable, which depending on the car seat you put back here could be an issue. And also the floorboard's just kind of elevated. So I kind of have a little bit of that like knees to my chest sensation, which can just make things a little bit more uncomfortable. But on the plus, I still have ceiling vents and charging and my own cup holders back here. So still good amenities for being all the way back in the third row. Okay, so before we get to the third row, I need to give a shout out to the Ford Explorer because recently the IIHS did second row testing and a lot of the SUVs didn't do very well. But the Ford Explorer was one of the few to earn a good rating for the IIHS for second row passengers. And a big reason for that is because these second row seats have pre-tensioners built into them. Basically, long story short, is that makes the second row seatbelts just as safe as the front two seatbelts. Okay, so let's dive into the trunk. Something that's really exciting is new for 25. The power tailgate is now standard. I am loving this new trend of manufacturers putting more equipment on their standard models. And a power tailgate is one of my favorite features, so I'm obsessed. Okay, let's take a look at the trunk space. Now, it's not the biggest trunk in its class, but I do appreciate that we have a little bit of extra storage underneath here. These seats are very easy to fold flat. There's just two buttons right here. Everything's power, but you don't have to hold it. Like, I have no patience to hold something. They're just gonna lay completely flat. And then we have a lot of great trunk space, especially if you opt for the bench in this car. So that's going to wrap up this 2025 Ford Explorer tour. Let me know in the comments below what you thought. I'm feeling very optimistic for this mid-size Ford SUV. I'm a big Ford girl. I drove a Ford Expedition, so I'm feeling very hopeful that some of this awesome technology is gonna make its way to the Expedition as well.